The goal isn't for perfection. The goal is for strength. Hey everybody, welcome to today's Jeff Heilman Project. And hey, big shout out to Kat. I know you're watching, girl.
Kat Campisi.
Thanks for shouting us out last week. We got such positive feedback about the visualization episode. A lot of comments and a lot of people saying that they'd like to do better at it. So good on ya. How's your week gone since we were in the studio last?
It's pretty good. Trying to think of what we had. Just my name.
Oh.
I'm showing my name on my paper. I'm starting class, so I put my name on my paper. I started using these. We can put a link in the description because we don't have an affiliate. Do we have an affiliate store on Amazon?
We used to, but I'm not doing nothing with it.
Not doing nothing. So these.
So don't worry, we won't get a commission if you buy these pens.
These Papermate. This is the Papermate Flare Medium Black, and what I've realized is that if I hold my hand like this and break the wrist, my hand gets tired. But if I go like this, I can write with my wrist straight like this, and it's more relaxing. The only problem is that the pen goes on the side. And so a ballpoint pen, you're going to be on the
Yeah, those are my
crowned
favorite
edge.
pens. I've loved those
So
pens
I
forever.
love this pen because I can actually write
sideways, all angles.
Sideways with my fingers.
Well, it's a felt tip marker, right? So the whole thing is felt.
Yeah, it's felt. And so I've been using to just write like this with my shoulder, and it keeps my arm from getting sore. And I write on a clipboard. Yes, I know how old fashioned is this, but I love the fact that I just have something solid to write on. It's like an iPad. It's like a paper version of an iPad.
That's awesome.
So yeah, how's my week?
Pen mate. It's a pen mate.
Papermate. Flare medium. Yeah.
Black marker.
You've heard it here, folks.
Yeah.
The official felt tip pen of the Jeff Heilman Project. Exactly. So we had a Memorial Day weekend, which was really nice. We have friends who were out at the beach, at the lake, eating barbecue, doing things to kick off summer, and we were home.
And where was I? I was remodeling our 1969 Ideal trailer, which I may or may not have talked about the last episode, but it's coming along for those of you who follow me at Jessica Builds on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. I'm posting. So at the beginning of the year, I started a 25 for 25. Well, actually, it was 20 for 25 day challenge. So doing something for 25 days in an increment of 20. So the first challenge was I rode the Peloton 20 miles a day for 25 days. And then the second challenge I went on was 25 days of eating salad, nothing but salad for every meal. And then the third 25 days is what I'm currently in, which is posting something on YouTube every day for 25 days. So it has coincided with this remodel of the trailer, and it's giving me the content to share every day for 25 days. I think today was day 7 on YouTube. But the reason why I'm bringing that up is we were doing that's where I was for Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Taping-wise, broadcast-wise, I'm 7 days into day 7. Reality-wise, I'm 12 days into the build and giving myself some time to edit and stuff and share for those 25 days. So I've been working nonstop for 12 days, and it's exhausting, but it's very rewarding. Thank you, honey, for enduring the time that I'm spending, and thank you, Andrew, for putting up with the time that I'm spending out there and not cleaning the house or making fancy meals, although I have been making some food.
You've been cooking pretty good.
Trying.
Yeah.
And you've been augmenting that with food out. Thank you.
Yes, and I've been finding a way to get my food needs.
Yes. And so today's episode, what we're going to talk about is this revelation that I had as I was working on doing something I'd never done before. We talk a lot on this podcast.
When was the last time you did something
doing
for
something
the first time?
Never done before.
John Maxwell.
And this trailer we've had for over maybe 15 years, and it's gone through.
I can't believe we've had it that long, but we've been in this house for 10 years this November.
And we had it a few years.
And we had it for a couple years. So it's probably 12
years.
At least. Yeah.
So it's gone through like lipstick fixes. I'll say it this. It's gone through Band-Aids. But Band-Aids don't last. And that's what this episode, if you titled it anything, you could probably title it Band-Aids Don't Last. And the reason why we're bringing up Band-Aids Don't Last is because this is the first time in owning this 70-year-old trailer that I've pulled all of the interior paneling down and the insulation down and the floor coming up.
It had a toilet. It had a shower.
Mm-hmm.
It had a stovetop.
Mm-hmm.
It had furniture.
It had a kitchen.
It had a kitchen. It had electrical. It had a gray tank and a black tank and propane tanks and windows and everything and a roof. You got rid of the roof and then put a new roof on.
Well, that's what I was going to get to. Was I was
Sorry, stealing your roof thunder.
Initially,
would that make me
I had been procrastinating because I'm the only one that does this stuff. So just saying, if it's not going to happen,
if it's handy,
if it's me, it's not going to happen. And we're going to have to toss it or donate it or throw it away or whatever. Okay, right. So we have this upcoming deadline of one of our kids is coming back. And so we need the extra sleeping space. And it's like, okay, I got to address it. No more procrastinating. The thing I was getting caught up on is all of the holes in the metal. And I'm going to show you as my this show and tell. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, for those of you who are listening, I'll try to describe it. What I'm holding in my hand is a piece of aluminum, which the entire trailer is wrapped. Its skin is aluminum. And in this piece that's about 12 by 6, there are holes in it, and you can see the light shining through on the camera. It's got holes in the bottom of it. Okay. The thing that caused me to procrastinate the most is my mind knew that there were holes in the exterior skin of the aluminum because that was what was causing all of the damage from the water coming in. And I became hyper fixated on the thought of how am I ever going to repair aluminum as if it had never been punctured before. As if, how am I going to get it to its state as if there were never any holes in it in the first place. And so the thought of perfection and trying to repair to perfect as if nothing had ever happened was what was paralyzing me and causing me to procrastinate on the repairs. Well, faced with having to do it because if I don't do it, nobody else will, faced with the need to have extra sleeping space, I just started in faith.
Would you call this one the doing something new?
Band-Aids are only temporary.
Band-Aids don't last.
Band-Aids don't last.
Yeah.
Because I had put Band-Aids in place over the holes over time, and those Band-Aids had worn out. So the reason why I bring this up is once I got in there and I got all my tools, and I found out that my circular saw can cut through aluminum, just like a tin can, just like opening a tin can. And I started just looking. It's a sunny day. There's no rain in the forecast. There has been no rain. And I'm just determined. I'm like, okay, so I'm started taking these little holes and cutting big holes. Like I cut this piece out of the trailer. So there is a huge hole to where what's left attached to the trailer has no holes. But now we have a 6-foot by 8-foot hole in the ceiling. And the concept of repairing it by putting new material on top of it and then, caulking around the edge. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is that the understanding that it takes layers to repair something that has been penetrated, something that has been hurt, something that has been injured. When there is a mar on something, one layer isn't going to be enough. One Band-Aid isn't going to be enough. But I can repair. Imagine if this piece that I'm holding remained affixed to the trailer and it still has these 2 little holes in it. Once I put silicone layer on top of these holes, and then I put a new subfloor on top of the silicone, And then I put new linoleum on top of the subfloor, on top of the silicone caulking. Each layer makes it stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And there will be absolutely no way for any critters or any water or any condensation to even come up to the surface once all of those layers have been put down.
Yeah.
And the epiphany that I had as I began remodeling this trailer and figuring it out and watching YouTubes and going through it and recognizing that that the goal isn't for perfection. The goal is for strength. And that things become stronger when you don't ignore them and you recognize that they're there beneath the surface, but that it's going to take once with application of multiple layers, that you can actually heal something from the inside out and have that healing come up to the surface as if it's better than new, as if it had never happened before. And so I think that's really been a very character-defining concept for me, because we all have things in our past. We have things, we have abuse, we have neglect, we have job loss, we have businesses going out of business. We all have holes,
plenty of job
in
loss.
our past. But it's going to take, and it's not just going to take money as a Band-Aid. It's not just going to take money. It's not just going to take positive thinking.
Yep.
It's not just it's going to take money. It's going to take positive thinking. It's going to take positive association. It's going to take books. It's going to take tapes. It's going to take time. There's multiple layers of overcoming and healing throughout the healing process in order to be able to say, hey, you know what? I've lost, in your case, babe, like 46 jobs.
Like
My
36,
undercarriage,
36,
my
let's not exaggerate.
underbelly is Swiss cheese. My underbelly is Swiss cheese, but over time, over the books I've read, over the mentorship and the partners in the anointing that I've received, you've successfully been building strength and building a foundation that is multiple layers thick, to where as we are continued walking in success, that new ground is solid, that new ground is smooth, and that new ground is as if, from the outsiders looking in, there's no Swiss cheese under there at all. It's totally flat, and it's totally perfect.
So, Joseph,
Yes, our son.
There's a phrase from psychocybernetics, which I think I've quoted on the podcast before. Psychocybernetics is the calm, accurate, and ultimately automatic separation of fact from fiction, fact from opinion, actual circumstance from magnified obstacle, so that your actions and reactions can be solidly based on truth, not our own or others' opinions. Well, there's another quote from psychocybernetics that Joseph.
Is this the one he tattooed on his body?
I think he tattooed the one I just gave.
I think it was a self-actual. Is it worthwhile?
It was something to the effect of, it is impossible for people to act contrary to their self-image and to who they believe themselves to be. And what I would say is, Tim Hahn covers this on a podcast that I just listened to. It's impossible for continuous performance of a task or activity that's inconsistent with who we believe ourselves to be. So you can do something amazing once, but to do it over and over and over, which is how you build momentum. Momentum is how you build long-term sustainable success, consistent near perfect performance. You have to have an identity shift. And the algorithms and the stuff I've been working on with ChatGPT of like, God, why am I not doing better? I should be doing way better. In my mind, I'm thinking, if I run analytics on my thinking, on my business career and success and the things that I've done, ChatGPT has me pegged at anywhere between $80 to $120 million net worth is what I should be. That's how I'm thinking, right? So why am I not at that? Why am I not operating at that level? Why aren't we making $6 or $7 million a year? And the truth is, it's because we're not doing the things consistently enough, like a $6 or $7 million a year person. And that comes back to identity. And so when we look at how do we take income and blend it with what you're talking about as far as the trailer, we have to go through and patch our self-concept, our self-image, our sense of identity through iterations of layers of books and tapes. And one of the things that ChatGPT is really helping me to do is it's really helping me to see that you and I have been operating at an exceptionally elite level with going from rags to riches, going from no kids to a bunch of kids, going from, children of multiple divorcee parents to married almost 30 years, going from no education to high income, high social standing, going from no tech to high, very, very high tech, going from no influencer to, the influence that we have now with 100 episodes of Jeff Heilman Project. Joseph's got 300,000 followers on Instagram. Jeffrey's been on Chopped. Nessie now wants to get a channel. She's 7, so that she can start selling her paintings.
It must be a California thing, no?
But it doesn't mean that we're better than other people. It just means that we're operating at an extremely elite level, and to the degree that we can bolster our self-image, just like that trailer paneling.
Yeah.
The story of Jimmy Head, I think, was.
Yeah, Jimmy Head was somebody in the Amway business who we used to listen to and follow, and he was a trailer salesman, right? And they had a manufactured home.
Yep, and they bought from a guy named Joe Folio,
bought a place
manufacturer.
And this was before they had made it in Amway. And anyway, he used to tell the story about how, I don't know if they had gotten drunk one night or there was some shenanigans going on, and they got a hole in the paneling of the wall of the interior of their manufactured home, and they were over and they were hanging out, and then Jimmy starts punching more holes in the paneling, and they're like, "Oh my God, why are you doing that?" And he's just like, "Well, you don't understand that. Like, I recognize that even though there's holes, when I put another sheet of paneling on top of this paneling, then it gets stronger. The wall will actually become thicker and it'll become stronger. And then the more panelings that we put up, the different materials that we use, then the house, the interior frame actually gets stronger the more that you apply various layers." I was looking it up, and I was looking up when you get cut and injured, like, we're not meant, as human beings, we're meant to be complete. Our skin is meant to be whole. It's not meant to be broken or injured.
Yeah.
And so when we sustain an injury, like a cut or a scratch or whatever, there are 5 layers of skin or 5 layers. There's the subdermal, and there's 5 layers between the fat layer and the, like, having it come back and being completely healed. And so, like, you recognize that even in nature, there's a process of a multi-layer healing process that strengthens, that it improves, that it causes elasticity as it's strengthening, because it's never going to be just one quick like, if you're looking for one thing to solve, if you're looking for a magic feather that's going to solve all of your problems, and you're only going to consider it's got to just be this one thing, it's got to be, oh, well, if I have a husband, it's going to be solved. Or if I have money, it's going to be solved. It's never going to ever be. That would be against nature, and it will actually cause you to probably go insane, because you'll be putting all of your thoughts on one quick fix, and it's only temporary. There's multiple layers. And, with each layer comes time. Like, if you put subflooring down and you're going to adhere your next layer, like tile, or you're going to do any kind of a permanent flooring, you got to trowel out your adhesive. You got to put out your sticky stuff, and then you're going to have to wait, and you're going to have to put the new floor, and you got to let it cure, and you got to let it set, and you can't walk on it for a couple of days. So self-evaluating and recognizing, like, what layer of healing am I in? Because I'm going to, if it's not finished, if you're not where you want it to be, if it's not where it's supposed to be finished, then you're just in one of those other layers, and it might take some time for that layer to cure before you can get on to the next layer. And I don't know that this is not popular. Nobody's going to want to hear this. Everybody wants to hear, oh, just one and done, or, oh, the salvation message is just, it's fixed. But if you want to get scriptural about it, Jesus says, will you be made whole? Like, made whole indicates that there's a making process. Will you allow yourself over time, over circumstance, to be made whole? Like, it is a process, And we're in that process. And so I just wanted to encourage anybody who was listening today with today's message that, Band-Aids don't last. And so the reality is that if you're looking for just one and done thing, it's going to take, it might take doctor's visits. It might take positive books and tapes and visualization. I remember when we were at New Beginnings with Huck, and he was talking about the woman who was diagnosed with cancer. And so she took a big picture of a healthy cell, and she had a painting or a blown up picture, really huge, and she put it on the wall, and she would look at it 24/7 because she just knew that if cancer was going to try coming at her for 24/7, then she was going to be listening to the word 24/7 and looking at the pictures of a healthy cell 24/7 and 24/7 and worship music 24/7 and because it's not ever going to be just one thing. Doctors will not just say, okay, one treatment is we're just going to cut it out. No, it's cut it out, chemotherapy, multiple visits, come back, get good books, eat good food, change your diet. It's work.
Yeah. I mean, you and I, we don't go to bed mad. That's our rule. The only rule we have in our house is don't go to bed mad, because we think that that's it's a real thing.
It is.
But we're constantly asking each other, what do we want? What do you want it to look like, babe? What are we doing? What do we want it to look like? What kind of car? What kind of house? Where are we trying to go? And it's not all material stuff, but let's just be honest. People who don't have enough to take care of themselves cannot take care of anybody else. So these people that talk about, oh, you should be rich, you should give to the poor. You should be rich and give to the poor, but it's in that order. If we're going to go and be successful in life, you don't get rich people to think about what it's like to be poor. You get poor people to think about what it's like to be rich. I mean, it's so simple. You have to put the picture in your head of where you're trying to go. And so you and I have a picture of a healthy marriage. We have a picture of happy children. We have a picture of a happy family. We have pictures in our mind on our fridge of what kind of car do you want? What kind of house do you want to live in? I mean, you got to live in a house. Might as well be the house you want to live in instead of the house that money decides. We happen to have a house that we really, really wanted to live in, and it meets all of our needs. And now we're looking at new houses, going out and dreaming about.
I want to keep building. I got to keep this channel going.
Yeah,
got to build the next house.
We're doing the things to try to stretch our identity to be the people that are doing the stuff of making $5 to $10 million a year, because you take taxes out, and then you take vacations out, you take savings out, and insurance and credit cards and bills and all that stuff. I mean, most people would live pretty well, I think, on $80,000 or $100,000 a month. It's not a lot of money, but it's certainly enough to live comfortably, and it's a lot for some people. I get that, but Rockefellers are making. I remember reading Rockefeller's biography. This is 100 years ago, but he had 4 estates, and they were strategically placed in Cleveland, upstate New York, New Jersey, and Florida, so that he could follow the seasons, each having its own 9-hole golf course on the estate, so that he could play golf from 12 to 2 every day before his nap. And he had a caddy, and eventually he had a bicycle, and eventually he had a caddy for the bicycle so that he could ride in between each of the shots. But he played golf until he was 95 years old on his own estate. And why did he have his own estate? Because he knew people were always after him, so he had to have Pinkerton guards hired to protect. But he was able to maintain 4 multi-thousand acre estates.
I think that's the key, is
4 different areas.
Is that when we get hyper fixated on one thing, like money becoming the answer, then that's like winning the lotto. If you want to have Rockefeller type wealth that's gonna sustain and be maintainable, you have to recognize that there's going to be layers. There's going to be accountants. There's going to have to be knowledge. You're going to have to learn the trades. You're going to have to learn law. You're going to have to schedule your day to where there's a huge portion of it that you're just going to be learning and reading. And then there's going to be a portion for physical health. And then there's going to be a portion of your day. Like, look at your day in multiple layers. Like, how are you layering your day in order to build a sustainable, maintained wealth fortune throughout the rest of your life, whether that's health wealth, and you're building the layers in your day between the food that you eat and the doctor's visits and the gym and the, whether it's overall entirety health with finances, and like it's just so multi-layered. Because think about how many husbands think, oh well, my marriage will be fixed if I wash the dishes tonight. Like they think that just like one thing, like if I just do one thing and wash the dishes, maybe I'll get lucky. Or women who think like, well, if I just, maybe if I cut back on my spending and I just, don't, maybe he'll notice if I go to the, if I buy the generic brand of milk instead of the other milk and I save $2, maybe he'll notice and our marriage will be better, our marriage will be fixed. But yet they're continuing to go into it without the recognition that, yeah, those are good things, but it's also going to take being kind. It's also going to take patience. It's also going to take service. It's also going to take, thinking about each other. Like there's so many, like life alone is hard enough, but life when you're married is never going to be just one thing and that's going to turn the other person around, or one thing and that's going to make our relationship better.
There's no one thing other than what I can say is that belief. If I were to sum up, I was actually thinking about this.
Yeah.
Literally within a few minutes ago. If I were to sum up, the secret to all success is what I call the law of parity. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that calls it that. I'm just the only one that I know because I've never read it anywhere or heard it anywhere. But the law of parity says that water finds its own level and circumstances find their own level based on belief. And belief finds its own level based on our self-concept of identity. Wherever we're at financially, we're there because that's about where I believe I should be. It's a set. The new pop psychology term for it is called a set point. The good news is we know the law of parity exists.
And this podcast is for people who believe that things could be different. And that's the very, like, you can live, like, that trailer didn't have to be fixed. It could have continued to rot.
It wasn't fixed for 12 years.
It can continue to rot into the ground until we came out in 100 years and there was nothing left, right? But I believed that it could be fixed. And so the belief, the one thing to get started is to believe that your situation can be mended. The reality of putting that belief in action is it's going to take some time and it's going to have multiple layers in order to get to complete.
If you're going to make a change in your life, you have to be different in your mind. You have to shift the polarity of your being has to change. My friend and a coach and been a mentor to mine, a guy named Chris Doris, who's great, wrote several books on mental toughness training. And one of the things that he says is control the state, don't wait. The state of mind that you're in, which has to do with emotional, chemical, physiological, mental, spiritual, financial, all of that, the state that you're in is oscillating at a certain frequency. And if you are going, you can't solve the problems that you're dealing with the current oscillation that's attracted whatever problems that you're in. So you have to oscillate at a higher level. You have to vibe higher. And that's, my wife and I are Christians. We read the Bible and we go to church. So we can talk about oscillating at a higher level or vibing at a higher level. Sometimes, the church folks might not take too kindly to that, but it is what the experience has been for me. And do we use the Bible to read the word and oscillate at a higher frequency? Absolutely.
Vibing is it's good. You're good now. It's a modern term.
It's
we Christians call vibing. We call it vibing all the time.
Vibing. Yeah, my
That's
parents
my
used to say so and so. I like so and so. They have good vibes.
Okay.
Which usually meant they could score and ate the weed.
Well,
if the wind was blowing in the right direction.
Vibing is we girls, we ladies talk about vibing all the time. Not that way.
Wow, this is going off the rails like really fast.
But keeping it real, we hope that you've appreciated the Jeff Heilman Project. We love being
Actually,
here.
I don't.
You don't appreciate
I don't
it?
care if they appreciate it or not. We're
I
doing
do.
this. I mean, do we
care.
want them to? Sure. But if they don't, we don't care. Like, we've done this enough times for a long enough period that if you don't like it, the hater comments and all that stuff, the hater comments are so great.
I
Sometimes
don't
we'll
read
have
them.
to
Do we get hater comments?
We get all kinds of.
I don't ever look.
I'm like, we don't have very many subscribers, but the things that people say are horrible. We should do a hater comments episode. That would be awesome.
Just read them.
Just read the
Yeah, that'd be
stupid,
fun. We can do that next
idiotic
time.
stuff that
You get them for me and I'll read them, but I don't.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so busy. I'm so focused on
I'm
creating content.
We're so busy on creating content that my point is that if you don't like what we're doing, we don't care. Do we care about you? Sure we do. We want everybody to be happy, whether they tune into our channel or not. But we're not doing it for people to tune in. We're doing it to create something for posterity for our kids. We're doing it to make a record of our lives and to prove that we existed. And we have 2 years of video and audio content now that's posted, and we're proud of that. And if people want to join what we're doing, we're on all the social media channels. We have cell phone numbers. Happy to chat with you. Happy to engage. But the main thing, if I could push on anybody, is understand that there is this law of parity that says if I see myself as somebody who is very wealthy, very successful, healthy, happy.
As I see myself as the trailer being done, the trailer
being done, your subconscious mind is going to drive you to have ideas, thoughts, generative content, generative angle. You're going to wake up with angles and visions and saw blades in your head, and you're going to get it done. You're going to find a way to get that thing transformed with focus and effort and emotion behind it. And so it's not that anybody can do anything that they want. There's some people, I'm not going to play in the NFL.
No.
It's not for me at 50, right?
You could own an NFL team.
I could own an NFL team. I could be a part owner, right? But I worked at playing in professional golf for 10 years. That was not in the cards for me to do. I am certain of the fact that was not what I was supposed to do with my life, even though as much as I enjoyed going through the motions, right, doing the best that I could to try to compete. But there are a handful of things that most people in life have a handful of things they can get done if they really want to. And my belief is that the word desire really is what it says. And sire is from the Father. If you've got something that you really want to do and you can see doing it and you can put an understanding of the concept of belief, that there's some beliefs that need to occur. There's an embodiment of that belief. There's a vibing at the soul level that needs to take place in order for you to go and execute on whatever this project is that you're trying to do. You can absolutely do it. And Jessica and I have done all kinds of cool stuff that we never thought we could do because we found a way to trick ourselves into believing that we could actually do it.
That's right. And so with that,
anything else you want to add?
No. I think that that was spot on, and I do agree with you 100%. And first step, if you can take away anything from this episode, is believe. If you believe that there can be a change, believe. Self-evaluate. What layer are you in? Have you even started? Maybe you're at the maybe you haven't started that change, but day one is the hardest thing about working out is putting your shoes on. So recognize it's going to take more than just one thing. Workout alone isn't going to do it. Workout plus diet, plus sleeping, books, plus sleeping,
hydration,
plus
walking,
water, plus it's a multiple process.
5.38 miles today.
It's a multi-layered process towards strength and towards becoming the best version of you that you could be. And we encourage you wholeheartedly to go out and do it and try. Start off tomorrow.
Just get serious about putting the right picture in your head of who you are. I mean, you can go on ChatGPT for free and you can say, what are my best qualities? And you can say, I do this, I do this, I do this. I've gone to this school, I've raised these kids, and you can literally have ChatGPT talk you up to a different self-concept. And it's helped me tremendously to see that in the area of business, in the area of frame control, in the area of service and leadership, I'm actually a lot better than I thought. And if we get feedback about how we're actually really good at something, it can change our self-concept to where we start expecting more coming out of ourselves. And for goodness sakes, people, like, we're Americans. If you're living outside of America, you can follow America's lead, but most of the people that live here, most of the people that listen to this podcast are from the US. America is the greatest country in the history of the universe. And that's not a political statement. That's not a political statement at all. This is where nobody wants to leave here. Everybody wants to come here from other countries because they know that if they can just touch the hem of the garment of this Statue of Liberty of our country, they can be made whole and have an opportunity to take care of their families that simply does not exist anywhere else in the world. So if we're in America, if you speak English, and if you're listening to this podcast, chances are both of those things are true. I mean, you've lucked out. You're one of the luckiest people in the history of all of mankind. 100 billion people that have existed since the beginning of time, and you're one of the top 1/1000th of 1% that gets to live in America and speak English at the same time, and to be here and to be able to create the opportunity. Where did we stop expecting greatness out of ourselves? When did that happen? Just because we're watching somebody's Instagram feed and they've got a Louis Vuitton handbag and you've got a Coach bag? Come on, we've got to recognize that all that stuff that's operating outside of us, if we use it properly, can be inspiration to build the kind of internal models that say, I should be doing a lot more with my life. And not just money, but I could be a better parent. I could be a better husband, a better wife. I could be a better
And those
patriarch.
thoughts of and that belief that things could be better is global. And you can go through,
America doesn't have the monopoly on
through
that.
Amazon or through
100%.
books, Audible. Like, you can get books. You can buy. We can all the propaganda playing field, unless maybe you're in a communist country, in which case you're not listening to this anyway. But the propaganda playing field is level, and everyone can get free PDFs on the internet or books or tapes or whatever layer that you're working on in order to up-level your narrative to where you could potentially be, which might be getting yourself through the visa process so you can get on an airplane so you can come on over to America. But regardless of whatever layer that you're in, we are in it with you. We are here to support you. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe, share it with your friends. Let us know how we can serve you, how we can help you, how we can answer any of your questions on regarding where you're at and what we can give to you moving forward.
Absolutely.
Thank you for tuning in today. You are special. We are all special. We're all working hard together. I'm going to go back to working on my trailer. If you want to check out my YouTube channel at Jessica Builds, the current series playlist that I'm working on is called "What is Jessica Building Now?"
What is she doing?
What is Jessica building now?
I never know what she's doing.
And it's really fun. So love you guys. Have an awesome week, and we will see you next time.
Project. See you next week.
Bye.
Cheers.